To understand the medieval struggle for the Iberian Peninsula, you have to look at its southern border. This is the Strait of Gibraltar, a 14-kilometer stretch of water that physically separates Europe from Africa. By 1340, the Marinid Sultanate, an empire wielding immense wealth and sophisticated infrastructure, was marshalling a vast invasion force on the southern side of this divide. Sultan Abu al-Hassan intended to transport this army across the water to reclaim territories his predecessors had lost centuries earlier. This map visualizes the defensive reality facing the Christian kingdoms. The only way to stop a landing of that scale was to intercept it in the water. They needed a naval blockade. Keeping those ships in place meant the difference between containing the Marinid forces in North Africa or fighting a sprawling war on Spanish soil. King Alfonso XI of Castile recognized that his land forces could not withstand the full weight of the Marinid military. If the invasion touched the coast, Castile would likely collapse. He assigned the defense to his top naval commander, Admiral Alfonso Jofre de Tenorio, ordering him to hold the strait regardless of the cost. Tenorio was forced into this defense with a severely compromised fleet. His ships had spent the winter enduring harsh storms, and promised naval support from the neighboring kingdom of Aragon had already withdrawn. This chart illustrates the sheer numerical disadvantage Tenorio faced. His battered squadron was staring down a Marinid armada reported to consist of over 200 vessels. The Castilian High Command knew these numbers. Tenorio's fleet was positioned as a physical barricade, expected to absorb the impact of the crossing to buy the mainland time. In April 1340, Sultan Abu al-Hassan gave the order. The vast invasion fleet began its push across the water. Rather than scatter or retreat to safe harbor, Admiral Tenorio steered his outgunned ships directly toward the approaching armada off the coast of Algeciras. The sheer volume of Marinid ships overwhelmed the Castilians. The interception quickly degraded into a massacre. The Castilian fleet was wiped out, and Admiral Tenorio was killed in the close quarters fighting. This map shows the immediate consequence of the battle. The blockade was broken, leaving the maritime corridor completely unguarded. Thousands of Marinid troops poured onto the beaches unhindered. They immediately surrounded the coastal stronghold of Tarifa, trapping its garrison inside. The barrier between the continents had collapsed. Castile now faced the exact land invasion it had sacrificed its navy to prevent. News of the annihilated fleet and the siege of Tarifa sent a wave of alarm through the Christian territories. King Alfonso used the severity of the crisis to his advantage. He realized the only way to survive was to consolidate the fractured forces of the peninsula. He reached out to Avignon, securing formal crusade indulgences from the Pope. This move legitimized the conflict and unlocked the financial backing needed to raise a massive army. He also negotiated a crucial military alliance with King Afonso IV of Portugal, bringing thousands of additional troops into the fold. The disaster achieved what decades of diplomacy could not. It forced the Iberian kingdoms to merge their armies into a single, unified force. By late October 1340, this massive joint Christian army marched south, intent on breaking the siege at Tarifa. Waiting for them was the combined strength of the Marinid and Granadan forces, setting the stage for the Battle of Río Salado. The Christian coalition had to push through the vast Marinid blockading force parked outside Tarifa's walls. The deadlock broke when the trapped garrison launched a sudden sortie, striking from the rear, collapsing their formation into a fatal pincer movement. The resulting victory was absolute. The Marinid forces retreated across the strait, ending the era of massive North African military interventions in Iberia, a triumph memorialized in stone monuments that still stand today. Admiral Tenorio's doomed stand cost Castile its navy and opened the gates for an invasion, but that very sacrifice catalyzed an alliance strong enough to secure the continent.